Come a long way as a character too. I mean, these scenes with Zoe, when having her back in this episode too was great. To have Paige Turco back in the cast for the night, the girl club thing was just awesome. By the way, it's a really fun episode. But having that as well, and it sort of lightened the character up. Do you feel like a more human side of Risa slowly emerging as the show goes on? For all of you, I mean, in terms of, because I just think Bear is like also fantastic. Now, who you played with Bear?
Started with me.
Exactly. That's right. All right. You brought him too. He's like your best. He really is man's best friend. And how about with all these new people are coming into the family? He's sort of been also a sort of a loner and sort of a sad and lonely figure. But now is he happy to have people coming into his world? And for the two women who are new to the full-time cast, because you are now cast regulars, you're in the credits and everything. It's wonderful. But did you know? When was it apparent to you that you were really going to be integrated this fully into the world of the show?
I mean, Jonah held out telling me for the longest time. And I remember being in Texas around Easter and texting him, like, furiously. And my mother was next to me. We were going for a walk, and she was like, will you please leave that man alone? And I'm like, no, Mom, I have to ask. And she's like, just play cool. I'm like, no, I'm going to be me, and he has to like me for me, and yeah, I mean, he held out to the last second.
It's been quite a transition from going from mediator to Terminator, from your last two full-time jobs.
No, she kicks ass, and I'm in love with her.
They must love writing for you. I mean, the lines that are coming out of you.
No. It's one of those things where.
And with Root, I mean, is she crazy or just ahead of the technological curve?
Yeah, that's a good. No, I think it's been interesting because I am not a computer person. I can barely check my email, so I have had to do a little research to kind of. Sometimes I'll get lines and I'll be like, "What the heck am I talking about?" I've read some books about computers and people who know about computers, and I started getting kind of more scared of my character because I started thinking maybe that she's actually the one who's right, and it's not that she's so crazy. So
well, it's like
we'll see if everyone's wrong.
Well, I love the fact that she thinks of people as bad code. That's one of the great things about her. But I love the fact also she calls the machine she. So where did that come from? And
I think it was one of the things we wanted to explore in the.
I'm just happy that the machine's talking to me. I think that's sort of what I've been working to this whole time, and maybe it means that I'll eventually get my scene with Bear.
Yeah.
The foreplay, the ironing.
Yes, I love the iron. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's more of that. you gentlemen will be happy.
Well,
yeah.
Well, the last time you referenced her, it says all you really want to do is put a hole in her head and not in the knee. You want to shoot her, not in the knee, right? So.
Something like that.
Yeah, you look to him. We can't talk.
Well, how fun.
The thing that I've kind of learned, I guess, with working with Amy when she's Root, and when I'm Shaw, there's a very love-hate relationship that happens between the two of them. And I don't know if they're secretly in love with each other. Like, I don't know what you writers are planning over there in that writer's room.
It's nothing to do with us. We write for the performance.
Of course. Well, you planted something, and we were talking about this on set the other day. It's like they have this, ironing each other and different forms of torture are like foreplay between the two of them. So I don't know where this is going.
Sarah, it's a family show.
Toys, possibly, but
I think one of my favorite New York moments was I was sitting on the subway after that episode aired, and this man kept looking at me for like 20 minutes. I was going to the Upper West Side from Brooklyn, and I was like, should I be nervous? What's happening? And then he finally leaned over and said, don't you be ironing me. And then he got up.
Oh, that's great.
changed because of all this, or has it? As we've come back into the show, and you're doing, you're reacting to numbers again, but has anything essential changed in the DNA of the... Oh, I should have mentioned when I was introducing the cast that Taraji P. Henson is not here tonight because she is working. She's
She'll be here, but she's shooting more flashbacks. We're going to find out a little more about Taraji's character.
Okay. But the circumstances that have changed for her has shined new light on Lionel, because you're still, in terms of, I think you're almost more essential to the team now because of the demotion that she's had. So how have things changed for you on the show?
Well, it's, yeah.
Well, she's not here, but I mean, and I agree with the Reese character who recently said, she looks pretty badass in that uniform.
Decision, the hero of the play. With Fusco and Carter, you have by the end of the season.
Commissioner would be nice.
And with Carter, it's a cool storyline we're working with.
And so we should expect to see the climb back up to be a sort of long and gradual one, I guess. Headline about the NSA and the graphing her award for the Good Wife. That was lovely. What a great character. We'd like her back. But I guess because of that, there is so much to explore. I'm kind of curious if anybody on the panel are there still mysteries in the character? What's the most nagging thing that you would love to know about the character? What makes them tick? We've gotten quite a bit of reveals about Reese and Finch up to this point, but even just a week ago, you said you wouldn't tell him why you enlisted in the Army because you're a very private person. I think Reese said that himself. But are there mysteries about the characters that are still nagging at you? Is there like one particular thing you would love to know?
Like Hill Street Blues or Magnum P.I.